This is going to sound harsh, but it really needs to be said when a deadly virus keeps coming back and the same mistakes keep happening, then that's not bad luck, that's simply failure at the top. India is once again dealing with a Nipah virus outbreak, and once again the story isn't just about a dangerous disease. It's about panic, denial, weak public health systems, and a government that loves chest-thumping slogans but freezes when real work is needed. Nipah is not new to India. It has shown up before. Health experts have warned about it for years, and yet every time it reappears, the response feels improvised, defensive, and embarrassingly slow. Let's first be clear about what Nipah actually is, because this isn't some random flu. Nipah virus is one of the deadliest viruses known to humans. Depending on the outbreak, fatality rates have ranged from around 40% to as high as 70 or even 75%. There is no specific cure, no magic pill, no guaranteed treatment. Doctors can only give supportive care and hope the patient's body survives. That's it. The virus spreads from animals to humans, mainly through fruit bats, and then it can spread from human to human through close contact. That last part is what terrifies public health experts, especially in a poor and crowded country filled with slums and hundreds of millions of people. Once human-to-human transmission begins, every delay, every cover-up, and every political distraction becomes deadly. Now here's the part that should make people angry. India already knows this virus. Outbreaks have happened before, especially in Kerala. Reports have been written, committees have been formed, lessons were supposedly learned. And yet, when new cases appear, the same problems return like clockwork. Confusion, mixed messages, hospitals scrambling, and authorities more worried about image than speed. Instead of immediate nationwide transparency, you get silence. Instead of calmly informing the public, you get leaks and rumors. Instead of massive investment in disease surveillance and local health systems, you get press conferences and patriotic speeches. Viruses don't care about speeches. They don't stop because you light a lamp and pray to Shiva or trend a hashtag. Indians love to WhatsApp and gossip about things, but texting your friend won't save you. And this is where the handling becomes a political embarrassment. The Modi government loves to project the image of a strong, modern, unstoppable India, Vishwaguru, global leader, rising power. But a truly strong country doesn't panic when scientists speak. A strong country doesn't need to hide outbreaks. A strong country doesn't treat basic public health as an afterthought. What makes this worse is that the warning signs were already there. Scientists have repeatedly said that India is at high risk for zoonotic diseases, diseases that jump from animals to humans, because of rapid deforestation, crowded cities, weak regulation of animal markets, and poor health infrastructure in many regions. This isn't anti-India talk, this is basic epidemiology. Let's not even the lack of basic functioning toilets, and the fact that human and animal waste is just thrown out into the public in many places. But acknowledging these problems would require admitting failure. And that's something the current political system struggles with. So instead, the focus shifts to optics, damage control, and yes, even silly arguments about what the virus should or shouldn't be called. You've probably seen Indian TV commentators getting extremely emotional about naming. Palki Sharma and others have gone on long rants about how it's wrong, unfair, or anti-India to even hint at location-based names. And to be fair, global health organizations like the WHO do discourage naming diseases after countries or regions because it can lead to stigma and racism. That part is true. It reminds me of the time when Trump referred to COVID as the China flu. But here's the problem. These commentators are fighting the wrong battle. Instead of asking why outbreaks keep happening, they argue about branding. Instead of asking why hospitals are underprepared, they complain about foreign media. Instead of demanding accountability from the government, they wrap everything in nationalism and call it a day. No serious critic is saying viruses have passports. Nipah didn't appear because of some cultural flaw. The virus exists in nature across parts of South and Southeast Asia. But when outbreaks repeatedly happen in one country, the conversation should be about preparedness, response, and responsibility, not hurt feelings. Calling out mismanagement is not racism, it's public health, plain and simple. So let's talk about mismanagement. In several past outbreaks, contact tracing was slow. Local doctors weren't always warned early enough. Protective equipment was limited. Families weren't clearly informed. All of this increases fear and spread, and fear is the real accelerant in any outbreak. Meanwhile, the central government tends to pass responsibility downward. It becomes a state issue, then a local issue, then a hospital issue. By the time everyone agrees it's a national issue, precious time is gone, and the virus has ravaged the population. Compare that to how outbreaks are handled in countries that take public health seriously. They overreact early. They flood resources. They communicate clearly. They trust scientists more than spin doctors. And most importantly, they accept short-term political pain to avoid long-term disaster. In India, the instinct is often the opposite. Delay, deny, deflect. Even after COVID, you'd think the lesson would be clear. COVID exposed just how fragile India's healthcare system really is once you strip away the slogans. Hospitals ran out of oxygen, people died outside clinics, crematoriums overflowed. And yet, instead of a full structural reform, we got victory laps and selective memory. Nipah should have been a wake-up call again. Instead, it's turning into another case study in how not to handle a public health crisis. And here's the uncomfortable truth. This isn't just about Modi as a person. It's about a political culture that treats criticism as betrayal and science as an inconvenience. When experts warn about risks, they're ignored. When journalists ask hard questions, they're labeled anti-national. When commentators should be pressuring power, they become its shield. You can't bully a virus into submission. You can't shout "India strong" at a microscopic pathogen and expect it to retreat. Biology doesn't care about elections or primetime debates. What's truly shameful is that this was preventable. Stronger disease surveillance, better funding for local clinics, faster reporting systems, transparent communication. These are not impossible tasks. They just aren't glamorous. You can't campaign on sewage systems and lab capacity as easily as you can on temples and tanks. And so the cycle continues. Outbreak happens, panic spreads, media screams, government reassures, commentators defend, then silence, until the next time. If India genuinely wants to be seen as a global leader, this is where leadership starts. Not in space missions or shiny infrastructure alone, but in protecting ordinary people from invisible threats. A country that cannot handle public health emergencies with honesty and competence is not strong. It's fragile, no matter how loud it shouts. The Nipah virus doesn't care about nationalism, but citizens should care about competence, because next time the virus might spread further, and next time slogans won't save anyone.